This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I will.
And I'm Vic, and this is the last time you gotta hear me say my name, I promise.
I hope that's not true. You better be making more videos there, buddy. All right?
On your podcast, I mean.
You know what? You'll come back eventually. I'm sure we'll figure out a good time to bring you back on. So
yep.
Even that is not true. Let's see here. I want to find a video of somebody like just wrecking DVDs to put in the background here.
That'd be perfect. Did How to Basic ever break up some DVDs?
Let's just see what you got here. Frisbee clearing and track. Nope, that's not the right one. I just want to say DVDs as frisbees. Whoops, frisbus. Let's see.
DVDs as urinal cakes.
Oh man, you know what? Screw it. We'll just put this frisbee video on in the background. Frisbee. This is a video on Frisbee Rob's channel. We'll just put it on there. Whatever. All right.
It's totally related.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I went to college with that guy.
All right. So today is Faceoff Friday. I don't know why I said. You know what? I've been introducing this episode since Will's missed so many of them, so I guess I'll just keep introducing this one. So the prompt today is, will disc-based media survive the next generation of consoles? And before we get into that, make sure you guys go subscribe. YouTube.com/Vic Blanco Prods. Probably one of the most entertaining comedians on the whole interweb, so go check him out. Influenced by It's a Gundam with direct communication, so, you know, just saying, touting some facts here.
I'm nervous.
So he doesn't have a lot to say on this episode other than being the judge and basically telling us why we're both wrong. So, you know.
Like almost every judge every week.
Pretty much. So the setup is he will choose the order in which Will and I present our arguments. Each participant will address the prompt with their answer, but no arguments will be made. Will always forgets that. And then when we get to making the case, each of us...
objection. We're allowed to say objection. That was a rule at some point.
Not during the prompt. Not during the point where we say, I'm defending this and you're defending that.
Oh, it's during the follow-up?
You always forget to say what your position is without giving your whole argument.
Oh, whatever.
I had no idea there were objections involved in this. Can I call my public defender real quick to help me out with this?
All right, listen. So during the actual making of the case, Will and I will present our arguments here. And then at the end of presenting our arguments, or during, we can make objections. Obviously, that's an option. And Vic will decide whether or not the objection is sustained or overruled. And basically he's like, yes, it counts as relevant, or no, it's not relevant to the argument, and then we'll either keep it or throw it out. At the end of our argument, he can ask each of us one question. You know, after Will's done talking, ask Will. After I'm done talking, ask me. Then we'll each present closing arguments, and he'll determine whether one of us is the victor, or he'll throw out our arguments and, shame us or revere us for our opinions. And then present why we're both wrong or why we're both right, one or the other. Okay, so the prompt is, will disc-based media survive the next generation of video game consoles? And this is especially relevant because the PS5 has two versions, one with the disc reader and one without the disc reader. So
I still think that the Xbox is going to have one that might be all digital as well, but we'll see.
Yeah, we've yet to see a all digital Xbox for the next gen, whereas there was the Xbox Series.
Sad.
Or was Xbox One S all digital?
Yeah. Which is ridiculous. They should have made it like a little box, but instead all they did was it's the same thing but without the disc drive. It looks ridiculous.
If you're going to have the acronym SAD, at least put a sad face on it. I'm sure somebody did that.
Can we just bring back the Nintendo and Super Nintendo cartridge? So much easier.
Yeah, that's
Blow and go.
I don't think Nintendo's going to use that phrase, but I like it.
That should be in the marketing campaign for sure.
Blow and go. All right, so Vic, who do you want to go first on this?
Based on the fact that I am not afraid, I don't want to lose you guys as friends, so I'm gonna flip a coin. Yeah. Being is that Chris is the first person that I see in my line of sight here. Pick heads or tails. I got a penny here.
I'll go tails.
All right. Oh, and it's heads. It's heads. Sorry, Chris.
Guess Will's gonna go first.
So
you gotta pick.
So I get to say what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to say that it will survive this next generation of consoles, and here's why, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So I'm going to say that
Hey,
yes,
Will?
it's going to be what?
You never let me ever present that I'm going to be defending my side. I'm
Oh, is
saying
that
that
what you're getting mad about?
that's yes, because you always roll right into
Well,
your
obviously
arguments.
you're going to defend the other side, Chris. Why do I need to let you go? Go on.
You're saying yes. I'm saying discs are done. Okay, go ahead.
I'm
Okay.
getting flashbacks to my parents fighting when I was a kid. This is not good. I want to be in the middle here.
Okay, I'll go. By the way, I'm right. No. Anyway, so the reason why I think they're going to survive, I do think they're going to be severely restricted as far as, from previous generations. Like, I think it was at the height during the Xbox 360, PS3 era, and it's slowly declined ever since the advent of being able to download an entire digital game. And now with lightning fast load times, PlayStation is launching with an actual discless console right out the gate. It is going to definitely decline. It's very convenient to just have a digital game. However, there's always going to be a market for the disc-based media. We can look at another industry just at the Blu-rays and DVDs when streaming services started to happen, and you can basically just get movies offline now, buy them from Amazon and YouTube. A lot of people thought that that would be the end of DVDs. However, you can go to any store and pretty much still buy DVDs. It's because there's always going to be that person that wants to be able to pop into their Blu-ray, wants to be able to actually hold it in their hands and actually have something that they spent that money on. And especially with games going up to potentially $70 this generation, people are going to actually want to have that physical item that they paid for. So the way that it could look like is maybe GameStop goes under, so you're not going to go to GameStop anymore. However, companies like Limited Run Games will still be producing that physical media. People are still going to be buying that physical media. It just might be severely contracted. So I do think it's going to survive this next generation of consoles. As far as the next one, potentially not, just because there's going to be an entire generation of kids that grow up on almost completely digital. Whereas, Chris and I's generation, even just my niece's generation, and obviously the generations older than us, grew up with disc-based media. So that's the generation that's going to keep it going. And obviously we're going to be the ones buying this next generation of consoles. So I do believe, again, that this generation is still going to have discs, probably going to be a lot less than what we were used to, though.
All right, Vic, do you have a question for Will?
How much faith do you have in human beings for being intelligent?
None.
I agree.
Yeah,
Continue.
people prove again and again that they have unlimited capacities for stupidity.
I agree. Sustained.
All right, my turn. All right, so I'm gonna make an interesting argument here for Will, just for Will's sake here, because I do prefer that discs exist. But if while you're buying right now as a license on a disc, do discs really exist to begin with? I mean, when I pop in a disc into my Xbox or my PS4, what does it do? What's the first thing it does? It installs the full game. So then the only thing that console actually looks for is the license on the disc. And at any point in time, if Microsoft says you're kind of a cheater, all right, see you later, and they could revoke my availability to access that license on the discs to my account. So then I can't play the game online anymore because they've revoked my access to it via the license. With everything being online, what do you actually own? So I own the disc. I can resell the disc, sure. But that license is what you really own. You don't actually own the disc itself as a piece of media. The media itself is installed directly to the console, and that disc is only a license, only a key. I could get away with putting a USB in my console with the same license file on it, and I think that's where we're headed. I think at some point, these license files are going to exist on some other form of media, not a disc. And I think this next gen will prove that discs just aren't convenient anymore. They spin, they break. They're not very. They're fragile. I mean, discs are fragile in general. Like a cartridge is not so fragile. That's why the Switch, in my opinion, is the right form of media to keep having. Like, for example, here's a Switch cartridge right here. I think the Switch cartridge is what you're doing right. This is a much less fragile form of media, and you could even use it as an install file, just like you do with discs on current gen systems. So they might just be selling you a proprietary USB flash drive in the future where it comes in a little box just like the Switch boxes, and boom, there you go. There's your physical media for the future. Because not everybody has access to perfect internet, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So physical media needs to exist. I don't think disc-based media necessarily needs to exist. And I'm okay if they replace it with something else personally. I just want to keep having physical media of some sort. And that's why I was pretty excited when Mr. Tallarico announced that they're going to have some kind of physical media for the Amico. So he's also in agreement with all of us older gamers that physical media can't die altogether. But discs, in my opinion, are scratchable, fragile, and not convenient because the install time takes forever. So that's my argument. I don't think discs will survive this next generation. I think after this, we'll have something different. Got a question for me, Vic?
Chris, have you bared witness to the grandiosity of human evolution that is TikTok?
I have seen what it is.
Okay, great. Okay, so are you guys ready for my ruling?
Well, we get to present a closing argument still.
Oh, closing argument still. Yeesh.
Yes, sir. So just real quick.
Okay.
It'll be quick, I promise. My closing argument, so we do opposite order for closing arguments. And it's usually a short argument. Like, so here's my short argument. With something like the Nintendo Switch existing, right, and people wanting more portability to their consoles, discs aren't portable. It's just a fact. And with xCloud and Google Stadia, which, Stadia is dead, but xCloud's not. xCloud will rise like a phoenix in streaming. But with those types of platforms taking over the mobile portable market, and iOS with the Apple Arcade, disc-based media is essentially already dead, but being kept alive by people like us who have decided we still want it. And that's the only reason it's still around. It's not because the industry wants it. It's not because Microsoft and Sony want it. It's because we still like to see retail businesses like GameStop exist, mom and pop shops exist. If a perfect capitalistic world, it doesn't exist at all. They moved on like 10 years ago, and they've just done like Xbox arcade titles and digitally distributed it. It only exists because we want it to exist, not because it needs to exist. So I think it's done after this next generation because there's no reason for it to continue to exist when better media like cartridges and USBs and USB-C stuff exists. It doesn't make sense for discs to keep going. All right, Will.
All right, I'm going to cheat slightly because the prompt says, "Will disc-based media survive the next next generation of consoles?" And nowhere in that prompt does it indicate that new discs have to be made. So I'm just saying, all of the old discs, there are millions of them.
That's so cheating. I object.
They're going to survive.
Overruled.
Make a better argument.
I think I made my argument before. I think that, we grew up with discs. I think they're still a very viable base of media. I mean, you can say the same argument that it would make more sense to put movies on flash drives, and they haven't done it yet because people use the Blu-ray discs. They like how they look. They like putting them into the slots. And I think, and as far as it not being convenient, I think it's very convenient to have a disc. And they clearly thought that since the 90s, or they wouldn't have switched to basically all disc-based media until the Switch had to go back into cartridges. Even though you make the argument you can fit more onto the cartridge. I think that it's going to survive just because people grew up with it, and there's going to be that nostalgia factor. And still, even with this generation, even though PS5 has a discless version, the other version has the disc. So I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I don't think that PlayStation, well, the UMB or whatever that's called, does have a disc in it.
I'm saying, which one are you going to choose, Vic?
That's
me or
unfair
Will?
though. That thing is like at least it's 15 years difference.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. You can
I object on that.
I would object to that one.
Objection sustained. All right. So I have clearly looked over both arguments, and I've been sitting here through the entire thing. I swear to God, I wasn't drinking beer the whole time and playing Pac-Man. As a man who has survived Y2K, mad cow disease, my Beanie Baby collection is still intact, and my investment in Google Stadia may be the only reason why I still drink Miller High Life. I now have rendered my verdict. Thank you to the Krillcast here. So, Chris and Will, aka Krill, I now pronounce you Krillcast. You guys are both wrong. I think next gen is going to be video games on vinyl, and as your punishment, you both get the electric chair. It's wasting my time. I got a Spice Girl cassette tape in my 1998 Buick I gotta go listen to. And don't ever trust in human beings ever being smart, because it's never gonna happen. Are we gonna have CDs for a little while longer? Yes. Is it smart? Hell no. Hell no. But it's gonna happen, whether you like it or not, Chris. It's gonna happen. But yeah. So off I go, and I'm gonna go watch some Flash animations on my gateway computer. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time.
This was the best ending ever.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on here, Vic. We appreciate
thank
you.
you.
It's been a lot of
Thank you
fun.
for having me, guys. No, it was great. This is the best week I ever had in the course of 3 hours.
It's time travel fast. We're already at Friday. Wow.
Yeesh.
If you guys haven't yet, go subscribe. YouTube.com/Vic Blanco Prods, and be wildly entertained like we are. So, as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm going to let Vic sign this one off. So, we will see you
later. Thanks, everybody. Vic Blanco Prods. Thank you for hanging out with me all week. I promise I'm not this bad in person. See you later.
And if you want to check in next week, we'll be here again with the CHRILLCAST. So I'll see y'all later.